So today seems like a great day to dive in. So let's do that. Okay, to be or not to be. How blunt is too blunt? Should you adjust your bluntness to fit the personality of the person you're talking to, or nah? Okay, so just because you are used to things being a certain way does not mean you shouldn't be open to change. When you're not open to change, it can change how you are and most definitely how you come across. So, I've always been one to be outspoken about how I feel, but I did not always start off that way. I used to be really quiet and shy, and with that comes people with the need to test that. So eventually, I had to become louder and less shy. To know, not me. I mean, I was still me, but with a little more, if you would call it that. I began to make it clear about how I felt even when my opinion was definitely not needed. But that was me, the new me. The old me? It was just me. And it went from me saying how outspoken I was to how blunt I was. And I don't know if it kind of made me feel like I had a pass, or I kind of felt like it gave me a pass to say what I wanted to say. And not only what I wanted to say, but how I wanted to say it. And bruh, that was not okay. I used to make excuses for how I would respond in a way to make it okay in other people's eyes so that they would excuse how I responded. Does not matter if it came off rude and smart. I said what I said, so get over it. But baby, if that ain't childish, I don't know what is. A lot of times we get hurt by certain things that are happening around us. A lot of times things that people do bother us, but it is not our job to speak on everything we see. It is our job to pray for them and keep it pushing. We want to get loud and we want to come out and say what we feel like people need to hear us say because they tried this and they tried that. So it's on them if they get what they get. Is it though? Is it on them if they get what they get? Because you've excused what you did multiple times. You've came across as this person who feel like they can say whatever they want to say, do whatever they want to do, and people just have to be okay with it because of people that wasn't the people that you was being blunt and rude with. People from your past, people that you came across in life who decided to treat you some type of way, and you developed this need to let them know that I'm tough, that mean who you think you are to try me. But at the same sense, you were turning who you were or who you used to be into a different person, and you really let them win by adjusting who you were. And that's crazy when you think about it. Growing up, I struggled with people calling me too sensitive. And if you listen to my podcast last week, you'll see how I said, I'm a crier. I cry about everything. I just love to love people. And with that comes me being who I am. But a lot of times people used to say, oh, you too sensitive, or that's too sensitive, or you can't be in this field and be this sensitive, and you can't be in that field and be this way, and you can't be this and be that. You can be whoever God made you to be. Let's just cut that right now. Because the people who are in your life, they'll adjust how they treat you based off who you are and how you are. Because that's the way that God made you. Just like you adjust how you treat them based off who they are and how they are. At least that's what you're supposed to do, right? That's what real friends do. That's what loved ones are supposed to do. They're supposed to have your best interest at heart. They're supposed to look out for you. They're supposed to adjust if they want to have a relationship with you. They're supposed to fix certain things. Talk about them. No, don't adjust. Don't change your standards and who you are. But if your friend struggles with one thing, or you know that certain things make them feel some type of way, why not adjust that? Why say or feel like you can just, I said what I said and it is what it is? And it's like, why? I would come across as blunt. Everybody knew me as, she gonna tell it like it is. It just is what it is. It just used to be that, right? And then it went from me telling it like it is to people saying I was mean. And I'm like, I'm not mean, right? I've never been mean. I'm the sweetest person you could know. It's just who I am. Like, people don't understand that I'm not mean. Like, that's never been my personality. But it was my new reality because of how I came across. So even though I wasn't mean, even though I thought I was just speaking up for myself and doing what I thought I should do, for people to know that not her, not her, that it was okay for me to get big chested and say whatever, woe is me, huh? Like, thinking back on it, People are mean. Some people are mean. Some people are just who they are. It's their personality. It's who they come across to be. And that's just who they are. But that's not who I am. And I was never that to begin with. But like I said, I allowed the voices of outside people to play a part in who I was becoming based off how they felt about me. And how goofy is that? It is not my job to match up to what you feel about me. It is my job to do what God called me to do. It is my job to be who God called me to be. And whatever you got going on is a you problem, not an us problem. There is no way that I should have adjusted how I came across, how I talked, how sensitive I was based off how somebody else felt about me. Because, baby, that is how God made me. But I lived my life not wanting to say too much, not want to do too much, not this, not that, not wanting to be around this because if I do this, they going to think that, not wanting to speak up about what's wrong and what's right because if I do this, they going to say that. When in reality, if not you, then who? Why can't you be yourself? Why can't you speak up for what's right? Why can't you do the right thing? Why can't you be there for somebody who needs a hand? Why can't you lend a helping hand to somebody else without being called names? Or you doing too much of this or you being too much of that? Or why can't you be your genuine self and the people around you accept you for who you are? Why can't you be in a good space without somebody feeling the need to say, oh, girl, like what? Like, like what? And we've made it so normal. We made it so normal to bash people, to allow them to have to defend themselves. We don't even really know what's going on. All we see is the outside, but all we do is we steady keep finding the reason. Oh, I said this, and it's because I saw this. And you might have an opinion, but who asked you for it? No, for real. If somebody came across to you, like you coming across to somebody else, how would that make you feel? Like y'all have everything to say. People have a lot of things to say. They have honestly too much to say and too much time on their hands. Real talk. Because why do I have to change who I am, defend who I'm trying to be, show you who I turned into? Why am I trying to do all that to people that don't even know me? Who hasn't even took the time to get to know me, who doesn't know my heart, who doesn't see what I do day to day, don't see how I talk to them, how I love, how I care. They don't know none of that. But this is the world that we live in because social media is a thing and we all do it sometimes or we feel like we say too much. Like real talk, like I would talk to people and I would be myself, right? And based off who they were, I would, tell them a little bit more about me so they can get to know me a little bit more, or I would show my personality a little bit more. And then every time I would leave a situation, I'd be like, well, did I say too much? Like, should I have said all that? Like, is they gonna use that against me? Like, are they gonna say she being too sensitive or she not this? Like, I've always feared it because of how I started off. When I was showing my true self, people didn't want to get to know me. They didn't want to understand me. They didn't want to check on me. They wanted to bash me. They wanted to tell me that I wasn't good enough. They wanted to show me that you got to speak up. You can't be this shy person. You have to be big and bold in America. And it's like, why do I need to be big and bold in America? Why? Where has being big and bold got me? I can be who God called me to be. I can be a Jesus follower. I can do and say things that God want me to say. I can follow the commandments that God want me to follow. Because at the end of the day, me being big and bad ain't going to change nothing that he got planned. At all. It's not going to change who I am. The only person that can be big and bad and make a big change now, when I say you can't be big and bad, if you're doing something that God calls you to do and it requires you to be big and bad, then do by all means, baby. Do what he calling you to do, period. But we can say what we going to do all day. But if it does not align with what God has set for us, it's going to fail in some type of way. You look up and be like, dang, it was going here, we was doing this, we were going there, and then all of a sudden, boom. And also, when you follow God in the best way, you still have some of the worst days. Because who are you to do what God called you to do? The devil like, hold up, bro. I had you in this little cycle. I had you doing what I wanted you to do. I had you coming for people that you didn't know. I had you speaking off people. I had you talking behind their back. I had you telling them that they too sensitive. They need to grow. I had you telling them everything that God said that they're not. Bruh. I had you telling them everything that God said that they are, that they're not. I was using you as my personal little puppet. So who you think you about to? Like, what you think you about? You about to be who God said that you could be? You about to do what God told you to do? And you about to ignore the little spirit I placed in you to do what I called you to do? Oh, no. Because with that comes consequences. Your week was going good. Boom, something happened. Oh, it ain't nobody but the devil. He mad. He big mad. Because I ain't tell you to do that. I wanted you to stay that person B. I wanted you to stay that person who couldn't admit that being too blunt was a problem, that your delivery was a problem. Let me ask this question because I don't think people understand, but let me ask. When you go out, right, for an interview, I'm using this as an example. When you go out for an interview, you change the way that you talk. Because I can't go in here being blunt and rude to them because, baby, let me tell you something, you ain't getting that job. I just wanted to share that with y'all because sometimes we come across and we excuse our behavior based off of things that we went through. And we make it okay to be dismissive, to be smart, to be sarcastic. We make it okay because it's who I am and they know me. And as my friend, they should accept me. But I'm sorry, huh? As their friend, you should care how you talk to them. You should care how dismissive you were being with them. You should care how you made them feel. That's because why not? That's somebody you love. That's somebody you care for. That's somebody you want in your life. And you're just treating them like that? And you're making it seem like it's okay? And you can't even apologize or say sorry? Oh, that's a whole nother podcast. But you can't even apologize and say sorry? I didn't mean to come off like that. Like, I didn't mean it like that. Like, I could do better. Like, I had to learn that because I used to make excuses for how I was and how I talked. And God straight shook me and was like, girl, stop playing with me. No, for real. This is not who I called you to be. I did not call you to be this person. So you need to adjust it and adjust it quick if you're trying to go anywhere that I'm trying to take you. Because you can't go with that attitude. You can't get in the doors that I'm trying to put you in with that attitude. You can't hold on to things that you're trying to hold on with that attitude. You just can't. So you need to adjust it if you're trying to go where I'm trying to take you. Because you can try to go on your own, but it ain't going to feel as great as it would feel with me backing you. So, of course, I had to drop scripture, so let's go. In Romans 14:12, it says, so then, each of us will give an account of ourselves to God. With that being said, he gonna hold you accountable for the way that you acting, that you was acting before then, the way you start acting after they tested you and turned you into, or you turned you into. Because I'm not saying that, and I want to make it clear, I'm not saying that how somebody treats you does not affect how you come across, because it most certainly can affect how you come across. But at the end of the day, the only person that he's going to hold accountable for the way you come across, the way you act, is yourself. He will forgive you, most definitely, but he is still going to hold you accountable, just like you should hold yourself accountable for who you know that you're not. Because we can all adjust how we come across. We can all adjust who we want to be and how we want people to see us. Because even though it's not about people, it's about God. And if people see that you are a follower of God, if people see that you come across godly, if people see that you have God in your life and you can say when you're wrong and be real about who you are and at what stage in your life, then they might say, you know what? I want a relationship like she has with God. I want my own relationship. I want to develop my relationship with God like she has. And although it's not going to be the exact same as somebody else's, the goal is to bring someone closer to God. The goal is to let them see God's light shine through you. That's always the goal, because we are his children and he wants people to know that, just like you should want people to know that. But if you keep allowing how other people perceive you to change who you are and how you respond, I mean, are you really gonna let the devil continue to play with your top like that? Or God, because is you gonna let him lead you the way that he knows that you need to go. Show you the things that he knows you need to fix. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back. And I love you.